canvas tent while his dad was busy building them a house. Bob was very adventurous, spending his days building things, raising animals, crafting swords, and of course there was lots of fishing and hunting. He was very involved in 4-H gardening as he grew up and loved to garden to the very end. Bob's interest in building grew into a career. Bob sold his first houseplants at the age of 14. Actually, it was to trade in for his prize hunting rifle. He had his own construction company before he turned 21. So when he wanted to provide beer for his crew after a hard day's work, he had to have one of them buy it. In 1953, Bob was drafted in the Army. After training, he was supposed to be headed to Korea as an expert marksman, but he ended up going to Germany. He worked as an aide to the top brass, shipping troops around the country as directed by the generals. While there, he traveled around Europe on the weekends, seeing the countries by day and sleeping on the trains at night to save on expenses. He even looked up some distant Solly relatives while traveling in Switzerland. Bob came home in 1953 and resumed his construction business. Bob built over 250 houses and buildings during his lifetime in Island and Jefferson counties, as you can see if you look in the garage. He also did the original restoration for the bell tower, designed the new Elks Lodge, and he was very instrumental in many of the buildings and the grandstands at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. Along the way, Bob met Kathy, Babe, crusher in Port Townsend. She worked in the restaurant and Bob owned on Woodley Island. They married in August of 1960 and made their first home in Linwood. Bob was blessed with 4 daughters. He raised his family in Port Townsend until 1975. That's when a dream came true for him as he and Kathy were able to move the family to a farm in Chimcomb. Bob and family enjoyed a life of gardening, raising cattle and spending summers rock hounding all over the West. At a young age, Bob had become interested in the rock hound hobby, an interest which he passed on to his daughters and friends. In the early 60s, Bob and several rock enthusiasts started the Port Townsend Rock Club. They were a very enthusiastic group who worked to establish a building on the fairgrounds for meetings, education, and displays. They spent many weekends and summer trips out in the wilds digging for those treasured stone specimens. Bob became very skilled in jewelry making and has donated many hours training fellow rock enthusiasts his skills. Bob also led many a rock collecting field trip, always the one to call to identify each newly collected treasure. In his 50s, Bob took up stone carving. He became very skilled in this art and has carved hundreds of lifelike animals, sea creatures, and flowers, as you all can see in the house. His carving materials were jade, opal, obsidian, and many other unusual stones. Bob was awarded the title of Master Stone Carver and became known across the United States.
I bet you didn't know that.
Many of his carvings have been displayed at the Jefferson and Kitsap County Fairs. Bob was also the honored guest at the National Gem Show in Billings, Montana in 2009. Bob and Kathy have spent the last years enjoying each other's company in lots of Mariners, Seahawks, and college football games. The Point Casino was also a favorite hangout. Bob enjoyed the betting machines, the friendly staff who became friends, and the good food. Bob enjoyed all of his family very much. He was the hit of many a family party as he never minded getting dressed up in some of the wildest costumes that you would never expect. Bob lived to be 81 years old. On his 81st birthday, he laughed as he told us that now he was working his way towards 82. Special thanks go out to the doctors Goliev, Zivin, and Yale, and all of the awesome nurses for the wonderful care you provided Bob, which added many cherished years to his life. Memories of Bob will live on in the hearts and minds of his loving family, and by many others who loved him as dad, grandpa, brother, inspiration, and a true friend. Thank you.
I want to go see some people I didn't know were here.